Hello guys, and welcome to a new episode of Anatomy of a Fight, the show where we analyze matches and point out the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you guys think? How did Dragon Week do? Waiting guys for your feedback. Please comment below. Let me know how much did you like Dragon Week? Do you want to have some other beasts? I don't know, some kind of theme deck week. Please let me know. Post your own ideas. Maybe it will come to fruition. So we've had quite a few dragon lineups. Warrior, we have Spell Sword, Lalu with the Wildfire combo. We have Monk, we have Battle Mage, we've had Archer, and finally Scout. Those were fun stuff. So we're starting off Control Week. I'm so excited. We're going to play control decks, and we're going to have loads of fun and force our opponents into submission. So, for this week's 2-card pack bundle giveaway, let's announce the winner. Let's see what random.org will pull out for us today. Boom, 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 boom. Let's hit on the list, and there we have it. So the winner is J. DeWolf. Probably Tilvani. Proof it's all over the place. Love what you did with the dragons. Question is, what is the best control deck nowadays? Congratulations, J. DeWolf. Please leave a comment below with your in-game name or contact me via Reddit, Twitter, so I can give you the 2-pack bundle code. And let's see what we can do next week. I was thinking... Okay, so here it goes. Please subscribe and leave a comment to participate in the next week's giveaway for a 2-pack bundle code by answering the question, what is the best mid-range deck? Feel free to also post your decks, your build ideas, and I'll most likely showcase them on the channel. Have loads of fun and provide entertainment for you guys. Thank you very much for your subscriptions and support, for your views. Hoping to put out the best content ever. So, don't forget, you can send me videos of your recorded matches with insane combos and stuff, and just upload them to Dropbox, create a share link, and send them to me via Twitter, Reddit, Discord, and I'll most likely showcase them on Anatomy of a Fight and make you guys famous. So, for today's match is, we have the WarpMeta tournament that I've been into, and we have quite a, I'd say, one of the best games that I've ever had. So we're playing against Halforcus, and my lineup was Aggro Lalu, mid Dagoth, and Control Tribunal, and Halforcus' lineup was almost the same as mine. Aggro Lalu, Control Tribunal, but the third deck was different. It was an Orc warrior, an Orc-based theme warrior. Now, I banned his Lalu deck, and he banned my Control Tribunal. That was an interesting ban. Why? Because I knew that the Aggro Lalu currently sits at the top of whatever deck is played in tournaments. Aggro Lalu tends to win everything and go right under everything. And him not banning my Aggro Lalu, that proved to be quite difficult to cope with for him. So first match, we have his Control Tribunal against my my Lalu, and this is actually it was mentioned in the WarpMeta, I believe by Thalion from our guild, from Belt Warriors Guild. It was mentioned in the sync up for the WarpMeta. Basically, it's an article that he posted on the Elder Scrolls Legends blog regarding what's the current meta for the tournament, especially in WarpMeta. So this was actually Kovras BG's aggro Lalu deck. As you can see, we are on to turn 3, and the board is also quite empty on his side and quite full on my side. This deck uses a combination of drawing mechanics and the ability to spam creatures on board. The only thing that probably is the death of art to this deck is Ice Storm, a well-placed Ice Storm before being able to use Divine Fervor or something that could get the creature's overall HP up a notch, right above the Ice Storm's level. So as you can see, I'm already pounding. That prophecy there was, I can't remember exactly if it was a Shrieking Harpy, or it was a Javelin or a Lightning Bolt. I think it was a Lightning Bolt, and basically my Balmora Puppeteer died. Now, yeah, it's a Lightning Bolt, and nope, not the Puppeteer, but the Cornucob Gambler. The idea behind this deck is to spam the board with stuff, buff them up. If you're playing against another aggressive deck, you can go face. You can. There's no reason to trade favorably, except using Deeper Trapper. Now, Deeper Trapper is an excellent aggro stopper. You just place him wherever you need. You can also use it to trigger something like a plot for the Lalu Sharpshooter, or you can just count up the cards and post them on the battlefield, and then summon a Balmora Puppeteer, buff it to sky high, and use that to pound your opponent. And of course, most important, having Divine Fervor, keeping your creatures buffed right above the Ice Storm area of effect damage, which is deal 3 damage to all creatures. If you do that, a control deck will most likely avoid playing Ice Storm because it will be pointless. No creatures or close to none will die. Maybe, okay, it will catch off guard like 2 or 3 injured creatures. And he'll resort to single spell damage like javelins or edicts. It depends on which control deck you're facing. So keep your creatures buffed, and also an important note: don't buff only one creature. That basically just says it's a big juicy target for a javelin or cast into time or whatever removal spell that Tribunal is using. Spirit Knife, you name it. So luckily, I was unable to go lethal right now. It would have been a great opportunity, but I just hit a Prophecy Guard, and I had to sacrifice some creatures there. So right off the bat, by playing Ash Berserker, notice that I drew a Cliff Racer. So it does not matter what my opponent plays next turn. It's basically game over. You can't play Ice Storm. You've got 2 creatures that above 3 will survive. Only 1 will die. There's no way to remove at 7 magic at all the creatures. Even with the ring, 7 magic you can play Dawn's Wrath, but still leaves quite a lot of stuff of stopping power. So how should I put this? Don't buff a single creature. Spread your items, spread your buffs amongst your creatures, and keep your creatures spread around the board. Don't fill them up into one lane. You might want to consider having spread like don't have 8 damage in one lane and 2 damage or 3 damage in the other. Try to spread the damage evenly, so you will force a control deck that your opponent is playing to not have an answer to everything, meaning you can constantly put up pressure, deal damage, and take the match home and win. So that's what happened in our initial game. My Ulalu just overpowered the Halforcus Control Tribunal. GG thrown there, well played, and we're starting with our second game of the match. Because it's last year of standing game settings, I get to keep my deck. I play Ulalu once more, while my opponent will be forced to play his remaining warrior deck, which is an orc theme based deck. Quite an interesting deck, and I think it has the power to, if played correctly, to shut down Ulalu. But I was lucky with my draws, and I kind of I went for a good strategy. You'll see in a moment what I'm talking about. So because I was facing warrior, and I knew my opponent had guards, I knew my opponent had Multiple Gatekeeper. There's Multiple Gatekeeper. There's Sword of Revenge. Those are a lot quite clunky creatures to go around, and if you don't have like Shadow Shift, which I do have right now in my hand, but without some way to navigate around the guard, a Ulalu facehugger is basically dead in the water. So I've kept Ulalu Sharpshooter for that exact same reason. To circumvent any guard that we may face.
Who dares face me? Face me and die.
Now, Halforcus, I think he figured out, based on the previous match, okay, you cannot win the face race, so just chip away with a creature left unchecked, such as the one in the field lane, and use other creatures such as Dragontail Savior that can buff itself and be self-sustained to destroy whatever threats I will be throwing onto the board. Now, I know my opponent did not count on me playing so many cards on turn 3. And buffed him as well, thanks to 5th Legion Trainer. And right now, I have the upper hand. The only problem would be a turn 5 Sword of Revenge. And you can spot here a mistake that Halforcus made. Did you see it? No? Okay. Let me tell you about it. So, the Earthbow Spinner was used to silence 5th Legion Trainer, alright? But the best play here was Earthbow Spinner silenced the guard, and because it silenced, it loses that one attack provided by the 5th Legion trainer, and then trade favorably with the Dragontail Saver into the 5th Legion trainer. The board would have looked a lot different. I'm left with 1 damage on the field.
I'll take them with me.
Extra.
No matter what.
So even though my 5th Legion trainer is silenced, I can still pull out stuff thanks to Eastmarch Crusader. Now I'm forcing my opponent. I did not trade. Why I didn't trade? Because you don't trade with Lalo unless absolutely necessary. Like you need to get rid of a low guard creature, and you use your lowest attack creature to do that. I hit face because I dealt damage, and I knew my opponent was keen on trading because he knew from the previous match that this deck likes to face hug a lot, and he tried playing and switching his strategy from aggressive or mid range to basically control. But the control aspect of Warrior, although formidable, it cannot be matched by the outstanding movement and abilities of the aggro Lalo, because it has the ability to shackle using at least this version of the Lalo aggro deck, has the ability to shackle, has the ability to steal keywords, which is very important, has the ability to silence. Right now, as you can see, I basically forced Halforcus here into trading with that Penitential Colossus agent. And why was that a good strategy? It had the highest attack. You know that will be a target. Because I wanted Deeper Trapper to survive, especially for this display of creatures that my opponent just laid out in front of me. Luckily for me, I drew a Cloudless Illusionist. So that helped me even more, because I was able to make Deeper Trapper survive and stand its ground for another turn and prevent that Dragontail Savior that Dragontail Savior from trading into any more creatures. Basically, right now, I'm not using many spells. I think I only have Crusader's Assault in the deck. Basically, right now, the Withered Hand Cultist is stuck, right? And because it's stuck, the only option is for the Dragontail Savior to trade in, and it gets shackled as well. So we have 2 shackled creatures in the field lane, and 8 available damage in the on our side of the board. So there you have it. Because it's an orc deck, it runs that sneaky little orc that deals damage in how many orcs you've got on the field. Because it's an orc deck, the damage is pretty big, so you can lose some clunky creatures to this one. That's the advantage of having a themed deck. You can use synergies provided by the theme itself, such as like in animal decks or wolf decks, or actually werewolf decks, right? They have bonuses that interact with each other and give bonuses to each other, and that's the key element in playing themed decks. Now what I did next, my opponent Halforcus was down to 10 HP. I was still quite above what I'd say survivability wise good. But given the fact that my opponent could also pack items or charge creatures, that's not a good place to be right now. So what I'm interested in now is blocking as much damage as possible while dealing as much damage as possible, but blocking safely with, luckily for me, that I drew Marked Man, and I can use the Deep Trapper, the remaining Deep Trapper, and the Makeshift Defense. Now this is really, really important what Halforcus did in the following turn, because he focused so much in removing many of my creatures, and I kind of forced his hand into the field lane, and he used the Morgul Gatekeeper there, that the Shadow lane became unguarded, and I was quite happy about that. And I was able to block the majority of damage using simple token stuff or very low cost guards. So because of that Deeper Trapper, I have 5 damage in the Shadow lane, counting the Nullified Run in my hand, plus the lucky draw from Saron Pawnbroker, which basically gives a Steel Dagger to random friendly creature in each lane. That's lethal. But again, because Hilalu shenanigans, drew a top deck Cliff Racer and ended the game. An exceptional and outstanding match, both games against Halforcus. Well played, sir. I was a bit more lucky on my draws. Yeah. And there's some friendly courtesy and sportsmanship. Congratulating ourselves. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.